Welcome to Dodgers Dogs. As part of the Dodgers Daily Network, Casey Porter here. So glad that you decided to tune in. I'm going to shoot you straight right off the bat. I really don't have a lot to add from yesterday's show. Coach Holt pretty much nailed just about everything that I'm feeling. We've gone over all the issues this Dodgers team has had, especially in the World Series. We've gone over all the negatives. We've gone over all the things the Dodgers haven't done. And so we've covered that ad nauseum. There's nothing else that I could add to this show that would add anything else really to the narrative of what the Dodgers haven't done. We've talked to an ad nauseum extent about just how good the Toronto Blue Jays have been. And so really there's not a whole lot else that we can chew on as far as talking about the Blue Jays and what they provide. We know what Kevin Gausman is. We know the type of offense Toronto has. We know all that. So really, I don't have a whole lot of show today to offer in terms of analysis. What I do have to offer today is, I will say this, at least this is for me. This is how I feel. Maybe you're different, and I'm hoping that the players will kind of feel the way I do, is that the day off did me a lot of good, man. I'm telling you, I was negative. I was surly on Wednesday night, during the game, after the game. Everything that was going through my brain, coming out of my mouth, but with everything that I typed and texted was just absolute. The Dodgers can't do this. The Dodgers suck at this. This is terrible. This is bad. This is okay. And that's just how I felt at the time. That's how I felt yesterday morning. But I'll tell you what, man, you get a day off, you get to sleep a couple of different times in between your outings, and you wake up after that day off and you realize, the Dodgers have won 2 games in a row a million different times this year. The Dodgers still have Yoshinobu Yamamoto, Shohei Ohtani, Tyler Glasnow, and everybody else available to win 2 damn games, right? This is such a doable thing that it is super, super exciting. So if you don't want to hear a show today where the host, which is me, pretty much is going to cheerlead the whole time, this probably is not going to be the show for you, because I am so upbeat. I am so excited. Now we're going to cover some organizational issues that I think maybe you're getting a little bit too hard of a rap in terms of why the Dodgers are where they're at right now. But I am in the mood to be excited. I am in the mood to be positive, and I am in the mood to talk about all the things that the Dodgers can do, all the things that I expect them to do, and all of the results that can come out of all of those situations. Now, like I said, we know the Dodgers aren't hitting. And really, if you go back and I'm going to cover this just for a second. I said I wouldn't, but if you get really where this season has gone towards a turn, is that you can go all the way back to the offseason. Blake Snell, not good in the World Series. He was hurt almost the entire year. Now, was he good all the way up to the World Series? No, he was elite up to the World Series. So you got a lot of what you paid for in Blake Snell, but I'm going to say this point blank. You don't go pay a Blake Snell. You don't go get a Blake Snell to give up 10 runs in 11.1 innings. So the Blake Snell signing, in terms of winning a world championship, which, let's make it very clear, the only goal that this organization has is to win a championship. If you don't win it, then Coach Barikoff went as far to say it's a failure. I would say it's certainly not a successful season if you don't win a world championship. So the Blake Snell signing, I think, from just an organizational expectation, the way that he pitched in the World Series didn't work out. Again, from that perspective, he was elite going up to that point again, but the goal again is to win a World Series. So that didn't work out as far as in the World Series. Kirby Yates didn't work out. Tanner Scott didn't work out. Michael Conforto didn't work out. Alex Call has had minimal impact during the regular season, no impact in the postseason. And so I would say that, and then Brock Stewart's had absolutely no impact. So you took last year's team, you pretty much ran it back, and you added Blake Snell, which in the World Series hasn't been a positive impact in terms of, he struggled the two games he's had. And then you've gotten to where you're at, and now here you are. So the narrative is, this Dodgers team is way too boom and bust. We have been talking about this for a long, long, long time. That is absolutely 1,000% correct. But I'll say this, okay? I think that this Dodgers organization has been trying to fit. This isn't like, hey, this is what they wanted this offense to end up being. They did not put a roster together. They didn't go get Tommy Edman. They didn't go get Michael Conforto, Alex Call, Mookie Betts, Freddie Freeman, Will Smith. They didn't put these guys in place or go get them with the idea that we were just going to be a home run or nothing type of team. What's happened is the guys that are supposed to be dynamic, that are supposed to create the base hits, that are supposed to do the things that we've been seeing Toronto do against us, just simply aren't hitting. I mean, it's that simple. Mookie Betts has not had a good year. He's had a terrible World Series. Freddie Freeman had the walk-off the other night, but he hasn't hit the ball well. Will Smith's been pretty good. At times he's been really good. Tommy Edman has not been a good offensive player. Alex Call has had almost no impact whatsoever. So the guys that are actually really the only two guys that are in this lineup right now, and to be honest with you, I'm going to get real. Shohei Ohtani has had the two greatest games I've ever seen with my own eyes in the postseason, but he hasn't been the Shohei Ohtani to where in the at-bats where he's not hitting a home run, he's hitting a hard line drive somewhere else and putting pressure on the defense. So Shohei Ohtani himself has added to the boomer bust. And that wasn't supposed to happen. So when you look at who the Dodgers, who they've acquired and how they built this roster, Shohei Ohtani is supposed to be, and he has been, he just hasn't been necessarily other than 2 games in the postseason, a guy that is more than home runs, just a great player. Freddie Freeman's way more than home runs. Mookie Betts, way more than home runs. Tommy Edman is supposed to be the winning baseball plays type of guy. Alex Call, you go get him because he's a bat-to-ball guy. So I say this again to say, I don't think this is an organizational deal to where the Dodgers just said, hey, this is our philosophy. We want to win or lose by hitting home runs, and if we don't hit home runs, we lose. I just think the guys that they went and got to hedge their bets against the boomer bust type of offense have not performed. And then let me give you a little bit more further proof as far as this goes. Okay, when you look in your minor leagues, the Dodgers had the stolen base leader in the Pacific Coast League, which was Esteury Ruiz. They had the stolen base leader in the Texas League at the AA level, Taylor Young, who tied for the lead in stolen bases. And then you had the leader, and then you had obviously the leader in the Midwest League because Kendall George stole 100 bases this year. Then you also had the leader in stolen bases at the California League with Jaron Elkins. So there's no way that if you actually do a deep dive into this organization, there's no way that you can make the claim that this organization isn't transitioning to a more dynamic type of athlete, a more dynamic type of, hey, we can hit a ground ball, get on base, get on over, get in, a guy that can steal bases, that can build a game around speed on the offensive side. There's no way you can make that claim because all you have to do is dive into the ranks of the minor leagues. And there are Eduardo Quintero, great athlete. This Dodgers team has really concentrated on putting great athletes in their system. Charles Davalon, great athlete. Jose Meza, great athlete. Guys that should be way, way, way more dynamic. So, but it's like this. It takes a while for your minor league system and that philosophy that you're using down there to creep your way into the major leagues because you've already signed all these guys like Mookie Betts and Freddie Freeman and Will Smith and Max Muncy and Teo. Those guys aren't going to change. They are who they are. The Dodgers went and got them as established veterans for who they are, and or Will Smith was brought up through the system, but he is who he is. And I think he's a pretty dynamic offensive player. So you're not necessarily going to see the changes at the major league level, but I can assure you that they're happening at the minor league level. And that to me goes more to show about the realization from the front office that we do need more dynamics. And if they ever did need proof, they just need to look at who they're playing with Toronto in the World Series this year as in terms of the type of offense that is really, really difficult to beat because there's really no weakness to it. And there's no way to say, hey, well, if we just do this, like with the Dodgers right now, the Toronto pregame meetings are centered around just don't throw a breaking ball or a fastball to the spot of the zone to where the Dodgers can hit it out of the park, because that's the only way they're scoring right now. And they've had long stretches in the season where that's the only way they have scored. And then also, number two, we hit on this yesterday, just don't walk anybody. So if they do actually hit a home run, a couple of home runs a game, so they've scored 2 runs, whoop-de-doo. We're going to probe and find the big inning that we can build, and we're going to easily be able to come. The old saying is solo home runs don't beat you, and that's really true. We've seen that in this World Series. So the walk thing is great. I would rather replace that with bat-to-ball line drive, and if you walk, fine. But whenever you get into the postseason and you're facing only the elite arms of the best teams, walking is not a great philosophy, because they are not going to walk you, especially if you were so home run oriented and they know really you're probably going to hit a home run or 2 a game. There's just nothing you can do about it, which is not great, but you can't make matters worse by walking a hitter in front of that and then giving up a crooked number at that point. That's what Toronto has done to this Dodgers offense, is they have said, okay, we're not going to walk you, so all of your home runs are going to be solos, and then we're going to force you to earn your way on base in terms of gathering base hits. If we give up a couple of home runs because we're challenging the strike zone the way we should, so be it, but they're going to be solos. And it has absolutely worked. Okay, so kind of when I go back to my roster talk with the Dodgers, and again, not a whole lot of analysis on the series. I'm going to say it again. We have broke down what the Dodgers haven't done, each player ad nauseum. We have bragged on the Blue Jays till I'm blue in the face in terms of talking about them. Not going to do it again. We know how tough of a pitcher Kevin Gausman is. So I'm just kind of going on just a cheerleading rant here in terms of where the organization's at, where it could end up being here in the next 2 days, and I think where the future lies. So kind of let me give you an example, a real life. So there's a rule book and there's a case book. So I gave you the rule book in terms of, hey, here's all the guys the Dodgers have put in their system that are actually very dynamic, that are coming up, and that could be a factor moving forward. Zaire Hope, great athlete. Josue Paula stole 1 million different bases last year. And then I went over the fact that I think the Dodgers did go get some dynamic offensive players, but they're not performing. So there is the rule, the actual rule. Now let me give you the casebook. Let me give you the antidote, the actual real life evidence or a real life example of exactly what I mean. So let's take a team, and I use football analogies all the time. Let's take a team that wants to run the ball, they want to milk the clock, and they want to be tough, and they want to wear your defense down, right? That team, if they can go 4 to 5 yards at a time, and they can wear you down and go, say, 2nd down and 4, 3rd down and 2, 1st down, and they go on 8-9 minute drives. Okay, your defense might be able to bend but not break a little bit early on, but by the 3rd or 4th quarter, they have worn you down both physically and mentally. And that's whenever really the game gets out of hand, because you can't stop the run in the 3rd and 4th quarters, especially the 4th quarter, because they've done what they've done and they've worn you down. That is the Toronto offense. They are that team that runs the ball, and hey, you might get through a couple of rallies early on, you might squeak through there, but the overall toll that they take on you mentally and physically, eventually what happens is they find the big inning and then they strike, and because they don't let you off the hook because their bat-to-ball skills are so good, then they actually take advantage of that big inning. They get you behind the 8 ball, then they don't walk anybody, then they force you to hit solo home runs, and that's how they've beaten the Dodgers to this point, 100%. And so the Dodgers are the team that they wanted to be the team that can run the ball a little bit, they can throw the ball a little bit, and then also they can throw the ball deep a little bit. But what's happened to the Dodgers is it's like a football team in offense that comes out and they go, you know what, we're going to run the ball, we're going to establish the run, so then we can play action and throw it deep. That's the Dodgers offense. The Dodgers want to be able to get some base hits, walk a little bit. That would be the running game. Get guys on base. That would be the equivalent of the running game. And then throw the ball deep off of play action, which would be the home runs. Here's the problem, okay? If you can't run the ball, if you can't get on base to begin with, then whenever you're throwing the ball deep, the other team's either going to blitz or they're going to back up their safeties, and you're not going to complete the deep ball in a way that is effective for your team. So that's kind of where the Dodgers are at. It's not that they don't want to be dynamic. It's not that they don't want to run the ball and play action the ball and throw it deep and have an offense that can execute winning baseball plays and get over and get in. It's not that they even haven't built that way. They just simply are not in any way, shape, or form executing. And here's what I'm going to tell you as I continue my rah-rah cheerleader speech here. That's the way I feel, and that's how I'm going to go with this. And again, if you're not in the mood for a positive, upbeat, a very kind of cheerleadish type of show today with very little analysis and more just kind of overall, here is my positivity for the day. Again, this is probably not the show for you. Here's what I'm going to say. This World Series could not have worked out any worse for the Dodgers than it has. The Dodgers haven't played offense. Blake Snell hasn't pitched well. Tyler Glasnow didn't pitch well. Shohei Ohtani got beat. The Dodgers haven't been able to get on base. They haven't been able to stop Toronto from doing what they do on offense, short of Yoshinobu Yamamoto in one game. Literally everything that possibly could go in terms of matchup-wise, the way it needs to for Toronto to win, has to this point. Virtually everything that needs to happen against the Dodgers for the Dodgers to lose, no offense. Starting pitching, not being great, okay? Bullpen, not figuring it out, but we knew that coming in. All the things that needed to happen for the Dodgers not to win have. And I say all that to say, if I'm a coach at halftime and I walk in and I go, guys, they've done everything has gone their way. Everything that they've needed to do for them to win this game, they have been able to do. We have been able to do nothing that we're supposed to. Nothing. Nothing is going our way. We haven't done anything to help ourselves. We haven't done anything in terms of the execution piece that we're supposed to, that would claim the dominance that we're supposed to have over this team. That's where we're at right now going into the halftime locker room or going into the fourth quarter, which is more likely what we're doing right now. And having said that, we're only one score down. If we just get our shit together for 2 games, if we get our shit together for a couple of drives going down the stretch, regardless of what has happened to this point, regardless of how Toronto has outplayed us and out-executed us and outdone what they do better than what we do, regardless of all of that negativity that you can dive into and give reasons why that we all know, regardless of any of that, we are just 2 damn games away from winning this. That right there ought to go to show you who actually is the better team, because it couldn't be any worse for the Dodgers right now in terms of execution. It couldn't be any better for Toronto, and yet we're only down 1 game, and we have the greatest pitcher in baseball as of right now, and Yoshinobu Yamamoto. We have the greatest player in baseball for Game 7, and we have one of the best pitchers to back that up in Tyler Glasnow, ready to go as well, and then every other bullet in our bullpen. So despite everything going against us to this point that's led us to this, we're still only down 1 game, still only 2 games away from winning a championship, and still have the greatest players in baseball available to us. That's where the Dodgers are at. Okay, and not to mention, as the series flips to Toronto, Toronto now has a lead. There is going to be a pressure on them that they have not felt yet. Coach Holt addressed this yesterday, that, pressure comes with expectations. So the Dodgers are expected to win. That's a pressure. That puts pressure on you. Anytime you are expected to perform in a certain way, you have a certain amount of pressure to perform in that way. If you don't have any expectations, like the Blue Jays, they probably have their own expectations, but nobody in the game of baseball, none of the fans, it was tabbed as the David versus Goliath. So the pressure of expectation has been with the Dodgers 1,000% in this World Series. That has flipped. Now, the pressure of expectation will be squarely placed on the shoulders of the Toronto Blue Jays. People are expecting them to win now. It would be a choke job if they went back home and lost 2 games to a team that they have pretty much just done anything that they wanted to at this point. It would squarely be a choke if they went back home and lost 2 games to the Dodgers. Now the Blue Jays have that pressure on them. Let's get a lead. Let's get a couple of guys on. Mookie, let's flatten our swing. Tommy, let's get on base. Whoever's in Andy Paget's spot, let's swing at the right pitches, hit some line drives. Shohei, let's have a big game. Freddie, keep hitting like you have as of late. Between Will Smith, Teo Hernandez, and Max Muncy, one of you guys make a huge impact. Guys in the bottom of the lineup, just figure out a way to score a run or 2 by getting on base. The Hall of Fame 3 at the top. Let's do your thing. Let's score 4 or 5 early runs in this game, and let's let Toronto feel that choke factor. Let's let them feel that pressure of expectations jump on their back. And let's just see how they handle that. We know that they can play as the underdog. We know that they can play whenever they feel like nobody has any expectations for them, when they can play that David versus Goliath card. Let's just see if they can handle the choke card being played against them, because I can tell you, if the Dodgers win this game, they will feel that. There is no doubt about it, and I am not backing off of that, and I am not backing off in my excited, positive cheerleader mood. I'm sure it's wearing you out in terms of listening to all of this just excitement and positivity in terms of where the Dodgers are at right now, because you could sit here and go, it looks bleak. You're going back on the road. The Dodgers haven't hit this and that and this and that, and I can't push back against that. I personally choose not even to think about those things. My mentality today is just to think about what the Dodgers can do, and quite honestly, if you actually evaluate it, should do. Yoshinobu Yamamoto should go out and pitch very well. The Dodgers should be able to figure out how to score enough runs to back up Yamamoto. Shohei Ohtani and Tyler Glasnow should go out and pitch very well tomorrow. So that's where I'm at. Hey, let's get after it today. Let's get on it, and let's get some positivity working. Let's get some excitement, and let's go get a lead, and let's take it to Toronto, and let's take their game away from them. Let's see if they get that. So another thing about a team, I kind of equated them to the team that likes to go, first down and 10, second down and 6, third down and 2, first down, they wear you down. In the fourth quarter, they explode. That's kind of what Toronto does with that big inning, right? Okay, so let's see if they can do that if they're down 5 or 6. So one way that you can really take the starch out of a game plan of a team that wants to wear you down by running the ball and or just grinding out at bats, if you go get a 5 or 6 run lead. Now that bat to ball, now the discipline at the plate, now running the ball and going 2nd and 6 and 3rd and 2. Now when you're down 3 touchdowns and the clock's running on you, it's not quite as effective. So the best way, really, there's an old saying in football that sometimes the best defense you can play is to have a good offense. I think the best way the Dodgers can actually shut down this Toronto Blue Jays offense, despite the fact that you just need great pitching performances, but the best way to stop their offense is to get a 5 or 6 run lead and then let the game kind of melt away, and then make them realize, hey, us just grinding out at bats, us just gathering singles and base hits at a time, that's not going to be good enough to make up 5 or 6 runs. I think the Dodgers offense needs to become part of the equation of shutting down the Toronto offense by flipping that script on them, building a lead, and then making them feel like the type of game they play maybe is not suited to coming back from a 4 to 5 to 6 run lead. Hey, Shelly Lawrence, bring me hope, sending good vibes. Thank you so much for joining. Ayanami no Rai. We have to believe, keep faith. I believe. I more than believe it. Hey, this isn't coming from a fake perspective. I wouldn't be giving you this if I didn't truly believe that this is something the Dodgers should do. I still believe the Dodgers should win the next 2 games. Does that mean they will? No. Does that mean they'll come out and start hitting the ball? No. But I am still of the belief if the Dodgers do what they're supposed to do, of which I'm going to say it again, they haven't done yet. But if that's the flip switching that we talked about yesterday. If they just do what they're supposed to do, the Dodgers will still win this World Series. We'll still be having a parade on Monday. That's the way I'm going to choose to feel today. Elisheba Jones, let's go Dodgers. Ayanami no Ray. Well, we need to go with the horses that we have, no doubt. Dave S., game 1 of 1. So this brings me back to, like, let's say a pitcher is behind in the count 3-0 and the bases are loaded, 2 outs, and you can't give up any runs. So I never say, hey, it's never a good idea to say, to yell out loud, hey, quit doing this. That's a negative. You don't want to put it into somebody's mind a negative, like stop swinging at that pitch or quit throwing balls. So what you want to put into the athlete's head is, the competitor's head is, what do you actually need to do moving forward? So when a guy gets behind the hitter, say 3-0, and you can't walk the guy because the bases are loaded, the first thing that I'll say to him is, hey, this next pitch is strike 1. Just throw strike 1 on the next pitch. So let's get strike 1. Hey, the Oklahoma State, sorry, I'm going to a baseball scrimmage tonight, so I got my colors red. Plus, it's Halloween, and I love OSU, so there you go. So what I would say in that situation, I've said it a million different times, hey, strike 1. Let's throw strike 1. Let's worry about strike 1 first. Then after we throw strike 1, hey, guess what pitch is coming next? Yeah, you guessed it. We're throwing strike 2 next, right? And then after we throw strike 2, then, hey, let's throw strike 3. So the first thing you got to say is, let's throw strike 1. So tonight, Yoshinobu Yamamoto versus Kevin Gausman. It will not be easy, but are you going to sit there and tell me that you don't think the Dodgers can win this game tonight? Are you going to sit there and tell me that the Dodgers play well, which they haven't done, that they shouldn't come, that if the Dodgers play well, they couldn't come out and score 5 or 6 runs? Yamamoto just completely shoves, and the Dodgers win this game in a way that isn't overly stressful. You can't tell me that that's not a possibility. You can't tell me that if the Dodgers play well, if they play to their capabilities, again, like they haven't been, but if they play to their capabilities, Yamamoto pitches well, you can't tell me that you shouldn't have confidence in the Dodgers winning. And then, so let's take it one at a time. You should have confidence that the Dodgers can and will win tonight. You should. I'm telling you that right now, because the Dodgers have that type of roster. Then if you win that, you can't tell me, I don't care where it's at, you can't tell me that with Shohei Ohtani and Tyler Glasnow in a full bullpen ready to go, you can't tell me that as a Dodgers fan, you shouldn't expect them to win that game on Saturday too. So let's go one game at a time. Expect the Dodgers to win tonight. Let's bring positive vibes. Of course, none of anything that we say does matter whatsoever, but I'm just kind of saying we are to me, this is the best baseball chat in the world. I kind of feel like the vibes that we feel are very similar to what you're seeing in terms of the dugout vibes. So if we're feeling this way, let's hope that the team is feeling this way. And I really think, again, the day off, the looseness of it, getting away from the negativity, getting away from the grind. I think that the players and Dave and everybody else is going to reset like my brain did, and they're going to have the same type of cheerleading positivity heading into tonight that I have. That's just what I think at this point. Now, having said that, none of this matters if you don't go out and play and you don't go out and execute and you don't hit the ball better than you have. None of that will matter. But again, that's where I'm at in terms of mentality at this point. Ayanami no Ray, I think we drop call and bring in Rojas. That's what I said last time. That's what I would have done. I would have put Mickey Rowe at second base and Tommy Edman in center. At the very least, I think Mickey Rowe gives you more competitive at bats. You can always bring in Alex Call later. So I totally agree, Ayanami. I would be Rojas at second. I would be Tommy Edman in center. And away I would go. Hey, what a great crowd we have logged in. I want to thank everybody so much for the wonderful support here at Dodgers Dawgs. As part of the Dodgers Daily Network, Big Mac, first of all, Snell's ERA was affected by the bullpen and Teo. Well, not his best, but both games were 4 runs to the 6th and 7th inning, and the Dodgers scored nothing. I don't disagree with that, but I'm going to say this, Big Mac. The Dodgers signed Blake Snell to do better than he did in the World Series. I'm not going to let him off that hook. Was he unbelievably bad? Did he bury his team to the point where they couldn't win? No. But the Dodgers went and got Blake Snell for him to be better than what he has been in the World Series, and I'm going to say that from a positive perspective, that I expect more out of him because I think he's better than how he's performed in the World Series. Ayanami, the issue is that when Snell gave up two homers in the very first inning, it really took the wind out of the sails. It absolutely did. The Dodgers have been the best comeback team, the Dodgers and the Blue Jays. In baseball, though, that's no excuse. The Dodgers have to be more mentally tough, and they have to be able to come back like they've done all year better than they have. So you are exactly correct, Ayanami. I think it did take the wind out of their sails. That's too weak mentally, though. That can't happen. You can't just say, hey, well, we got down early, and so it bursted our bubble, and we weren't able to recover. Too mentally weak. If you're that mentally weak, let's just write it off. Let's go home and let's try to fix things for 2026. That has not been this Dodgers team. They have been resilient. They've been tough. They've been gritty. So although you're exactly right, the 2 runs early did just kind of take the wind out of the sails. The Dodgers have to be able to recover that from that, and they've done that all year, and they can do that. Chuck Huddleston, thank you so much for joining. The answer is very clear. Our hitting coaches are I'm not going to go there. The Dodgers have had one of the best offenses in baseball for a long time running. I'm not going to blame the hitting coaches for Mookie Betts or for Max Muncy being hurt or for Will Smith getting hurt or Tommy Edman, who's been a league average offensive player forever. So we'll just disagree on the hitting coaches. The Dodgers have had one of the better offenses for a long time standing in the game of baseball. And by the way, if you go to batting average and all that, not just in home runs. So, hey, Racy Auto Parts, hi, Coach. It isn't over till it's over. And I'll say that even further. I don't even think this is a Hail Mary. I think this is the Dodgers should do this. The Dodgers should win Game 6. The Dodgers should win Game 7. So, to me, it's more than just saying, hey, it's not over till it's over. It's, hey, I still think we're in the should do this category. And that brings me a lot of positivity and excitement. And I can't wait to watch tonight. And about 8 o'clock Pacific time tonight, I might be eating every one of these words. And if I do, I'll climb right up on here and admit that this was the next time, certainly not the first time, the next time that I was wrong. I hope I'm not, but let's get after it and let's have a good night tonight. The Dodgers have beaten the Jays twice this series. The Jays are not unbeatable, no doubt. Mookie should bat number 9, in all honesty. Ayanami, I could not agree more. I think that, there's some vibes to that. We took our leadoff hitter about 15 years ago, who was a very confident player, one of our better players. We moved to the 9 hole. He saw the lineup. He came in, and he was madder than hell. And, the one thing that we told him, the last thing that I told him as he walked out, I said, I get it. You're mad. Fine. I don't care. I don't care that you're mad. Okay? So he goes, well, what do you mean? I said, well, the good thing about this is you have a chance to prove us wrong. So the good thing about this is you're telling us we're wrong right now. We're telling you that you've earned this demotion to the 9 hole. So we're telling you earned this demotion to the 9 hole. You're telling me that we're wrong. The good thing about this is you get to prove it. So go out and prove us wrong, period, in a discussion. So that's how I would approach Mookie, and I don't have any problems with that. Make him kind of that second leadoff hitter there at the bottom. TNBC, good morning. Thank you so much for joining. The Dodgers have swung at a lot of ball fours in this series. They can clean that up. There's no doubt, Chuck, and they need to clean that up, especially against the splitter of Kevin Gausman tonight. Ayanami, Chuck is right. Even the kid last game who didn't walk a single batter, it was more because we were swinging, and that's not typical of the Dodgers. That's typical whenever you start doing things that you don't normally do. That is typical of a team that is pressing. And so a team that presses, they're trying to do too much, they're getting anxious, and that's when you see them get out of their comfort zone, get out of their box, and whenever you get out of your box and you try to do too much, that's when the execution typically pays the price. Again, I think the off day, being able to reevaluate, just kind of get back into the, okay, what are we, what in terms of what we are versus what we have to do? Are we capable of doing it? And I think everybody will relax, realizing, hey, what we actually are, typically speaking, a disciplined team versus what we need to do against Gausman and moving forward is totally doable if we just play the game that we're supposed to. And I think that concept there will give this Dodgers team a lot of confidence, kind of how I'm feeling today. So great white raider from the great country of Canada, just north of Montana, I learned yesterday. No clean innings for the Jays pitchers and defense is as simple as just get runners on each inning, apply some pressure, and it'll eventually break out. That is a great comment to make. Put pressure on the defense. Get them on, get them over, and get them in. HP, it's because the Blue Jays are a better team. They have been to this point. There's no doubt about that, but I'm going to say this. I say this about regular seasons all the time. When it comes to a regular season, there's a beginning, there's a middle, and there's an end. Same way with the 7-game series. In the 7-game series, there's a beginning, there's a middle, and there is an end. So we have seen the beginning, we've seen the middle. So far, Toronto's had the best luck with it. Well, not best luck. No luck. No luck whatsoever. Toronto has definitely been the better team. We have not written the last chapter, though. We'll see who gets the last laugh here. But I can't disagree with you to this point, HP. They have been the better team to this point. Ayanami, I mean, you figure that at some point your bats will explode, right? And if the bats just explode for 2 games, the Dodgers win. No doubt. Titan VG, no offense. Billy Bryan, Blue Jays are the team of destiny. It looks that way to this point. I'm not going to lie about it, but we shall see. In baseball and in any sports, sometimes destiny works, sometimes it doesn't. It could be that we don't have enough runway left, but I feel that we're really due to smash. That's where I'm at, 100%. The better team not always wins in baseball. That is absolutely correct, especially when the margins are slim like they are in a World Series setting. But Bonios, number 34 forever. Hi, Coach, with all that you say, bad the Dodgers are doing, still we are able to win 2 games, a little more on offense, and good bullpen. That, to me, that's the exciting part. You haven't. Whatever it may be, you say the Dodgers haven't, but still you're right there with just 2 games left with all your pitching left to go. That's the exciting part. So that's kind of where my positivity is coming. That's a good point, Casey. The Dodgers have been so horribly inconsistent, and we're still in these with a chance to win. Let's freaking go. Is pressure good? For some people, it is. I perform better. I have to have pressure. I'm a procrastinator. I need to feel the pinch of I have to get this done. Some people like it. Some people would rather have the more comfortable atmosphere behind them. But I personally am the type that I like pressure better. I tend to get a little lackadaisical thinking-wise without the pressure. I think the Dodgers are this way, so I think the pressure will help the Dodgers in terms of going back. Chuck Huddleston, roadmap going forward. Game 1 ambush, first pitch fastballs. I love it. Don't swing at ball 4 against sinkers. I love it. Coming in at the knees. Ride on Yamamoto's arm until he shows we shouldn't. Play good baseball. I love it. I think that's a great game plan right there. Hey, Great White Raider says, hopefully we can catch the Jays looking too far ahead. The excitement level up here is off the charts. Yes, very exciting. I'm sure it is in Canada right now. If the Dodgers can win the night, that excitement becomes nervous. That's what I'm talking about. That now that the expectations are there, that's the pressure flipping in terms of expectation. Again, pressure comes with expectation. Expectations have gone through the roof for this Blue Jays team. We'll see if they can handle it. Chris Navarro, easy? No, obviously not. Feasible? Yes. That is a great way to put it. Is this an easy task ahead? No. Is it feasible? 1,000% this is feasible. Dave has to demand gritness, 100%. You, Benji, 1234, that's a great comment. Beyond anything else, be tough, be gritty. I don't care if we have to stand on our head, do cartwheels. I don't care how you get it done. Just get it done in these next 2 games. I think Dave needs beyond anything. I think you've nailed that right there, Benji. What an elite comment. Standing ovation. I think if I was Dave, the comment I would make to this team is, guys, let's go out and be gritty. That's it. Let's go do it, right? I think that's a great message. Big Bonios, number 34 forever. The wins at Seattle got against Toronto. They didn't stop putting the foot on the accelerator. Let's copy that. That's a great comment to make, too. Jonathan Voitko, I, of course, want them and believe there's a strong chance to win this, but they should, at the very least, force a Game 7 if the Jays want those rings from the champs. I want our guys to focus on tough, grind them down at bats, no easy outs. That's from Ayanami. 100%. Al Minerva, nervous before any game, especially playoff sweaty palms are the norm. After the game, I've been falling asleep even during a game. Yeah. Hey, Al Minerva, I noticed that after the 18-inning marathon, I have been having a difficult time feeling anything. Think I blew all my emotions in that game. Yeah, that's called a hangover right there, is exactly what that is. So let me go to the bottom here. Duff time, I've learned that those with the lowest self-esteem that brigade other teams podcast, and this is the first chance he can punch down, so congrats, Brian. Okay, yeah, I guess Brian was a troll that we got. Thank you so much, Chuck, for deleting that troll there. 100%. Chuck, we are in a better position than 28 other teams with loads of talent on this Dodgers team. There you go. This Dodgers team is still loaded. Hey, there's a new name. You be cool. Ted Williams didn't bat leadoff, and Ohtani shouldn't. Kike is leadoff. Rojas next. Teo sits and pitch. Give Yamamoto our best defense. Rojas is defensive captain. Go Dodgers. Hey, that is going to do it for me today. That's kind of all I had for you. I didn't have a whole lot of analysis. I just have positive vibes. That's how I'm feeling. If you don't have positive vibes and I drove you nuts, sorry. I'm not going to, well, actually, no, I'm not going to apologize. That's how I feel. And if the Dodgers don't win, I'll come back and eat it. So there you go. Hey, thank you so much for tuning in. You Dodgers dogs are the absolute best. And as always, let's go Dodgers. It's a great day to be a Dodger.